Hello everyone, so back for another video. Sorry I've been away for a while, but haven't really been motivated to make videos lately. But I just thought I'd come on here and do like a Dolly story time for a doll I recently got. A doll I recently added back into my collection after I hadn't seen her since I was 14. 14 or 15 was the last time I ever saw this doll I'm going to talk about. And the backstory is a neighborhood girl in one of my apartment complexes I used to live at. She was kind of physically challenged. She had like these arm things that she used to help her walk. I forget what it was for, but it was kind of like crutches, but there was like little curved things that go around the arm, and then she had like the thing at the the handle, like the stick at the bottom that you would grab onto so that you could walk. So she had some of those to help her walk. And all the other neighborhood girls were kind of mean to her because she was kind of handicapped. And they did the same thing to me as well. Whenever I would come out to play, a lot of the other girls in the apartment complex were kind of snobby and kind of thought they were better than everyone. So what they would do with her as well as me is you would come out, and then they would act like they were going to play tag with you. And then I think it was tag or hide and seek or something. They would just hide behind corners and stuff, and you would run to catch up to them. They would run away. Just a whole group of them. It was just really mean. They would just peek around corners. You would, just as you were catching up to them, thinking they were going to play with you, they would run away again, run away again, run away again. They did that to me and this girl. So I was playing, with my dolls, and then this girl was out. What happened was, I don't remember how it happened, but like these neighborhood boys wanted to play with the girls, and we set up this tent, this little we were all pretending like we were having like a camp out or something. I don't know whose tent it was. It could have been the boys, or it could have been hers. I don't remember. But somehow I wound up going to her house, and then we went to her room, and she had Barbies. And a lot of them were just lying on the floor naked, and I started picking them up and looking at them and playing with them and talking about how pretty they were, even though they were naked, but I didn't care. And she let me borrow some of them. So one of the, I guess I'll go in order. I only have one of these dolls left, which I've had her in a lot of my videos. I've gotten a new one. I don't know where she is right now, but the first one was the Talking Glenda Barbie. So yeah, I have her. I remember she was naked, and her hair was pretty matted. She didn't have the necklace, and I remember before I rerouted her, because she has been rerouted, she had a piece of her hair cut back here, like a little bit of it was cut, and I don't know why, but yeah, first was that doll, and then was Princess Bride. I didn't know who the dolls were when I first saw them, but I just saw two dolls that had speakers on them. I don't even know if they still worked at the time, but I know I wound up putting batteries in them at some point. I think they did work. And I favored Glinda over all the other ones because Glinda was one of my favorite characters. Like, from like fairy tale characters or whatever. Because I always loved her big pink dress and her strawberry blonde hair. So I liked Glinda, and then Princess Bride, which oddly enough, the Princess Bride doll was a doll that I actually drew. This is really super freaky and weird, but I used to like draw pictures of dolls. And I remember in one drawing I did whenever I was like 13 or so, I just drew a bunch of pictures of. I used to draw like abstract Barbie art. So I used to draw like pictures of. Because since I used to find abandoned Barbies all over the place when I was a kid. I liked to like draw pictures of dolls that were abandoned, or dolls that Barbies in particular that were abandoned. Or I mean, back when I was growing up, children did all kinds of weird stuff for their dolls. Like, me and my friends would attach strings to them and make like wind chimes out of dolls. I don't know. We were just really weird. Like, we would have like a bunch of dolls strung up, and they would be like Barbie wind chimes, and all the dolls would be naked because we didn't always have clothes for them. But yeah, I did something. I drew a picture like something similar. I drew one of my dolls that was a California Dream Barbie, and my drawings were terrible back then because I couldn't always get I was very early in like stages of drawing and stuff like that, so the proportions weren't always right. But I tried to draw a California Dream Barbie, and then I just drew a bunch of random Barbies in the background that I'd made up. And I kid you not, I drew this Barbie. I drew a Barbie, and she was naked, and she was like hanging on a string or something, like that sort of thing that I used to do when I was a kid. So she and other dolls in this random drawing that I did were hanging on strings, and they were like spinning around or whatever. It's another thing we liked doing when we put them on strings, is we would string them like by their arm or something, and we would like twirl them and stuff. So, but yeah, that's what this doll, or the doll that I drew, was doing. And it was just something I came up with in my head. I was like, I drew a doll with long blonde hair. I don't think I drew a necklace, but I remember she had this more busty body, and I gave her a bent arm just like this one. She even had a middle part, and I drew a speaker on her. I had never seen this doll before. So you can imagine me going to this girl's house and seeing a naked Princess Bride Barbie, or essentially to me, back then it was just a Barbie with a bent arm with a speaker. And I kind of lost my mind when I saw that, because I was like, I drew that doll not long ago, not even knowing she existed. So that was really freaky. And then one of the next dolls, I had already had one by that time, but this is an M and C doll. I think this one has, yeah. So this is a clone doll, but M and C China. So I think it might say it, yeah, on the back of her head too. China, M and C. So M, the and symbol, and C. The one that she let me borrow, though, had long crimped hair. So, but it was a blonde Caucasian one, just like this. So, and a lot like, I have another doll here. So a lot like the Fashion Corner dolls, they have the dimples. It's an entirely different face mold, but very prominent dimples. And these dolls came with like a million different names. Like, the majority of them were called the Fashion Queen, but they would have, that was like the doll line, I guess, the name of the dolls, but they would have like a gazillion different names. They're more commonly known as Kari Mitchell or Michelle or something like that. But originally they were the fashion queen, and there was like Princess Kayla, Princess Erin, Princess Ellie, just millions of different names for these. So, but yeah, they have a bent arm style body. So yeah, and the arms are very flexible. And they do have like twist and turn waist and bendable knees and stuff like that. This one has been rerouted by moi. Been rerouted by yours truly. This one was one I found at the Goodwill. But yeah. So I've since replaced and gotten back a lot of the dolls that I'd had. But it was just some of the ones that she'd let me borrow that I really liked. And then the last one, well, there was another one. There was a Kid Core Katie doll, which I lost. Like, we went to her house. Like, we set up this tent, or someone else set it up. I don't remember. We set it up in front of, I remember the boys' names were like Coda and Tyler or something like that. And they were setting up this tent. We were going to have a pretend sleep out or something like that. Then we went to her house and she let me borrow the dolls, and then we went back to the tent and hung out there for a little bit. And I just mainly sat there and played with the dolls. The Kid Core Katie doll that she also let me borrow, I think I lost that night. I think I left her in the tent. And then I remembered her like a day later, but by that time the tent was gone, and like next morning or whatever, so... Yeah, that doll, I don't know what happened to her, but the last doll that I remember was this one. And I haven't seen her since then. I didn't really care for her much, so. This is Ballet Recital Barbie from 1998. And I recently got her back into my collection. So when I got this doll, she was naked, of course, just like the others. She didn't have anything original except maybe the earrings. I didn't care for her back then because, well, basically when you take her hair down, this is the original hairstyle. She has short hair and then she has long hair. She basically has a mullet when you take her hair down. But she has a mullet for this style that they did. So the long hair in the back was meant to be braided and wrapped around this to create this fancy little hairdo, this little updo for a ballerina. But the doll's hair was already taken down. I thought she had had a haircut, like a really bad haircut. And shortly after I got her, her neck cracked and broke. This one's actually going through the same thing. It's very common with this particular doll. So Ballet Recital Barbie has a tendency of her neck cracking. I've seen a lot of these with their heads pushed down onto their necks on eBay and stuff, so. But yeah, and she does have the crappy elastic joints. They're not like that big rubber band that a lot of gymnast Barbies had. She actually has the, it's like a hair tie or something that they used, and it's very thin. But yeah, shortly after I got her, neck cracked and broke, and I distinctly remember like hanging her outside the window in the car. And that's what I did with a lot of my dolls. Like, I'd stick them out the window and watch their hair blow around, and I think I did that with her once. And that's really all I remember about her. And then she got lost, or maybe... Well, basically, the reason I still had all the dolls was... So you're probably wondering, well, why didn't you give the dolls back already? And it's like... The story behind that is, I forget what happened, but like, it was a tragic story, but like her mom got in a car accident and she didn't make it, and then they moved, like, I think the girl went to live with her grandparents or something, and they just wound up moving, and I didn't know until later on. until I went back. And then, of course, my grandma, she was always, because I lived with my grandma at the time, and she was always like talking, chit chatting with neighbors and stuff. So she knew what was going on. But I went back like a week later, and then I found all this out. Like, Granny told me, and she had moved, and I never got a chance to give the dolls back. So I just wound up keeping all of them. So that's why I still had ballet recital Barbie and all the other ones. And it made me feel really sad because I had missed playing with her, and then I had discovered that she had moved away. So I remember every time I would look at these dolls, I'd be sad that she had moved and that I didn't even know where. After they moved, like, my grandma lost touch with the family. My grandma didn't know the girl's other family. She just knew the mom, kinda, sorta. But yeah, apparently that was what had happened, and it was real tragic. I felt really bad for her, the little girl. But I was always happy to, even though I couldn't see her anymore, I was happy to still have the dolls to be reminded of her. Unfortunately, a lot of the dolls didn't make it throughout my teens. A lot of them, because I was really rough with my dolls, so a lot of them ended up getting broken and stuff like that. And this doll was one of the first ones to get broken really bad, and then she got lost or thrown away. I don't remember when we moved from those apartments into the apartments after that. So I have no idea what happened with my original one, but she was just gone. And I kind of missed her, but kind of didn't. And like, I remember browsing on eBay and stuff when I was in my late teens, when I was still in high school, and I remember I would see her on eBay and kind of miss her. And up until recently, I had decided I wanted to get her. I got a good deal on this one. It was just her. She originally came with like Kelly doll and stuff, but I didn't really care about all that. I just wanted the doll, and I wanted to have her with her original stuff, like some of her original stuff. So she has her original outfit that she was wearing. She had like little puffy things on her arms and little bows on her feet and stuff, but I'm okay with not having those. So yeah, she was one of the last dolls that I needed to replace the ones I lost. And of course now I have a bunch of these types of dolls, and I have 2 Princess Bride Barbies, and I have 2 Glindas. This one's my original one that she owned. So yeah, sometimes I wonder what, I'm sure that girl is all grown up by now. She's probably not even into dolls anymore, but I don't know, I've always wondered like what it would be like if I could tell her and be like, I still have your doll, and I've looked after her for all these years and stuff like that. I don't know, sometimes I wonder about that, but I have no idea where she moved to or what happened, but yeah, that's kind of my little story behind that little group of dolls. Actually, I have this one that I got. This one is Winter Ride Barbie, and I remember she also reminded me of this doll because she's very similar. She has the Mackie face, and she has articulated body with the she has molded on ballet slippers just like her. So yeah. But anyhow, that's my little story. Thank you guys for watching. More videos to come, and remember to stay true to you.